When we hear the word bacteria, we tend to think of it in a negative sense, and that is not completely unearned. Bacteria is the cause of infectious diseases, from minor disease like a sinus infection, all the way up to fatal diseases like E. coli poisoning. Bacteria also causes food spoilage, which is an enormous source of waste in our world today and can also cause disease in humans. With that being said, life as we know it would not be able to be sustained without bacteria. Firstly, bacteria is critical in the nitrogen fixation process. Also, bioremediation would not be able to be undergone without bacteria. Finally, human health is completely dependent on the function of bacteria. Life as we know it would not be possible without bacteria. Firstly, the nitrogen fixation process is critical to life on Earth. Plants need nitrogen to grow, but the problem is 90% of the world's nitrogen is locked away in an unusable form in the air. However, nitrogen-fixing bacteria is capable of taking this nitrogen out of the air and fixing it into a usable form that plants can use to grow. Animals can then eat these plants, and the ecosystem lives on as we know it. Bioremediation is also an important factor in bacterial function. Bioremediation is the process by which organisms break down organic pollutants in the environment into less hazardous forms. One key aspect of bioremediation is that if bioremediation didn't take place, everything that ever died on the Earth would still be here. Nothing would ever break down. This would cause an enormous problem in space and also in nutrient depletion of the soil. Bioremediation allows for microorganisms to break down this dead organic matter, and it can go back into the soil and replenish the nutrients. These nutrients can then be used by plants, again, to grow, and animals to grow from them. Another key aspect of bioremediation is cleaning up bigger environmental pollutants, like the oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico. Bioremediating bacteria were used to break down the oil into less hazardous material, and it was a much less harmful way to dispose of the waste than other methods of cleaning the oil from the Gulf. Finally, bacteria is critical in human health. The normal flora, or bacteria that naturally populates the human body, is very important in preventing infection. The normal flora competes with hazardous bacteria for attachment sites to our tissues. Normal flora also sequesters iron and other nutrients so that pathogenic bacteria cannot use the nutrients to grow. All of this together prevents pathogenic colonization of our tissues, which is what happens when you have an infection. Also along the lines of human health is probiotics. Probiotics are microorganisms that are healthy for our gut health. Multiple types of bacteria are used in food production. In items like cheese, wine, beer, yogurt, sauerkraut, or really any other fermented food. These types of foods tend to have high amounts of probiotics in them, which live on inside you after the product is consumed. These bacteria are key in breaking down and absorbing nutrients from your food. After all this information has been taken in, it's pretty clear that bacteria is underappreciated in our world. It's time that we understand that life would not be possible without bacteria, and bacteria simply improves our day-to-day lives. Bacteria can be helpful through nitrogen fixation, bioremediation, in human health, and more. So instead of trying to kill all the bacteria that you might come into contact with, it's time that you start thanking the bacteria that helps you live.